Quiescent Traveler. Hi, Dave Porter here from Quiescent Traveler. Thank you for coming to our channel, and I hope you like what you find here. This video is about an art class I'm taking at the local community college called 2D Design. And there's an interesting assignment that involves aliens and alien alphabet and what kind of message an alien might send to the Earth. So for my alien, I was imagining some kind of timeless, spaceless entity that lives in the, outside of the universe. And so they could visit us at any time in the past or the present or the future. And then they may not even have a physical body, something like that, some kind of alien like that. And so that kind of gave more possibilities. Like, for example, maybe they came back in, our ancient history and gave us messages. And maybe if we looked carefully at Egyptian hieroglyphs or something, we might find, some clues to maybe the aliens been there before and gave us, important messages that maybe we overlooked or we didn't understand. So I just wanted to kind of broaden the assignment a little bit and make it a little more interesting and challenging. So I did the assignment and I kind of had, it was decent. I did spend the time and I was kind of doing the brainstorming and trying to make lines and symbols and things that might look, not like an earthly language that I've ever seen. And then maybe some even more abstract things. But I just was not happy with the level of sharpness in the characters. And I just didn't like how it was coming out. So that was probably a combination of the paper and the ink pens I was using. But that was kind of my first try. And but I started to think more about it, and there was something else kind of percolating in the background, kind of resonating with me, that I kind of wanted to address. A couple years ago, I kind of, as a personal development project, I decided I was going to try to learn Greek, or biblical Greek. It seemed like it wouldn't be too overwhelming. I think you only need to learn like 800 words or something like that to really read like 99% of the words in the Bible. And actually it's the New Testament, so even easier. But it was more challenging than I had imagined. But I did get the experience of seeing an alien alphabet and alien word types, and also kind of made the observation that even though these, there's scholars who study this, there's still disagreement on what these things mean. And, that'll probably continue. So I started thinking about how to get a cleaner line for my characters. And I came up with this cardstock, this black cardstock. It's a little thicker than construction paper. And so I wanted to use, an X-Acto knife and kind of go through the process of, just cutting the letters out, cutting the alphabet out. And so I put on some music and spent, I don't know, a couple hours maybe, just sort of randomly cutting out shapes from the construction paper. And then I put it together just sort of randomly and kind of came up with an alien alphabet that way. So it was sort of, I backed into it, but it was just something I wanted to do that would have a really clean and crisp line compared to what I was able to accomplish with the black ink pens. Even though they were very fine black ink pens, I think I was using sketch paper or something, so it was sort of bleeding and it was just not a good crisp line. And that word stuck out. I wanted it to be crisp. So what I ended up with was this kind of three-dimensional objects placed on paper. And this is a 2D design class, so I knew I could either glue them on or take a photo of them. And I thought I liked having some of the pieces raised, because if it's in kind of this interdimensional alien kind of thing, we shouldn't put our conventions on what an alien does, right? So it was sort of, and I liked the shadow element and stuff. So I ended up turning it in this way, which I think was very striking, because I had very deep black and, the stark white, although this is a photocopy you're looking at. So and I'll have more on that, why I did that way, but because I'm reusing the pieces of this alphabet for the next work, which is the follow-on assignment, which is basically what kind of message would the alien send to Earth using this alphabet. And of course, none of these map to anything in English or any other language. This is sort of a completely different set of ideas, different set of thoughts, different landscape completely than what you'd see in the physical world, perhaps. I mean, this is sort of just imaginary, right? So that's the fun of it, is you can make it anything you want. So that's pretty fun. So at that point, that was the end of week 2, and I had developed the alphabet. And so now what I was trying to think about was, how would that go if the world received a message from the alien and they wanted to interpret it? And so what would that look like? And so that's kind of got me thinking to how things have been done in the past, and sort of, what kind of world we live in currently with all the current events and things. So I thought I would kind of go out on a limb and kind of make a statement. It's not a very profound statement, but I think to me, it reflects how things would go if we got a message from an alien. So as I started researching hieroglyphs, I started thinking about other religions and other religious leaders, and I kind of came across what I kind of thought was, started thinking about gatekeepers and how information is managed, and kind of the history of the last 1,200, 1,500 years, 2,000 years, and kind of how that's gone. And so I kind of struck on this idea that there's this gatekeeping entity that receives the information from the aliens, or would manage the information. So it wouldn't just be that the aliens could communicate with everyone, but it would actually end up going through some sort of hierarchy. And so that's hopefully enough of a clue of where this is going. So this is my poor man's light box. I just sort of take my window apart and tape things up against the window. Got to take the indoor screen off. And then I have access to my very own light box. So the idea is here that I am going to take that outline that I created in Adobe Illustrator from a photograph and add some value. I've already changed some of the proportions, dimensions, and certainly I got rid of a lot of the detail. And so I want to add value to this work. So now I've got the alphabet and I've got the messenger. So I just need to combine the two, and I have the pieces left over from last week's assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and, so then this is my finished product. All that's left now is to take the final picture and submit it for class. Well, that's it. I wanted to thank you for watching this video to the end. And if you like what you've seen, please subscribe and give us some feedback, leave some comments, and let us know how we're doing and what you'd like to see in the future. Thank you.